Yeah, it's raining. Ah, no we don't. This is the wrong road. What a beautiful bridge. Well, we just had a very nice lunch. Had some beautiful fish with rhubarb and crispy fish skin. Love it. We are just outside Bort-les-Orgues. And there's this huge dam. If I stand up, we've got water on one side and a big gorge on the other. See if there's somewhere to stop in a moment to have a look. There we go. That's the car park. Looks like some sort of hydroelectric. Can't get my thoughts together. A hydroelectric dam, yeah. So they're making electricity here with all that water. Not the prettiest structure in the world. Interesting though, nonetheless. It would be an absolute disaster if that blew. Imagine it destroy that town down there. We've been really lucky with the weather so far today. The lady in the restaurant we just stopped at said it was forecast to rain all day, and we haven't really seen much of it at all. Just a few spots. But looking at where we're going next, the sky looks incredibly dark. So our plan is to ride around the Cantal mountains, possibly past the peak, which is Plom de Cantal, and we're going to make our way to a place called Pierrefort, and from there looks like a nice wiggly road down to the river, and then on to Fournels, which is where we're staying tonight. I was just trying to make out what that sign says. It looks like a camera, but it's not, is it? It's saying you've got to have snow chains with you between 1st of November and 31st of March. So we are definitely getting into mountainous areas. So let's get back on the bike and enjoy the ride. So if you're ever in this part of the world, coming into Bort-les-Orgues, by the dam, there's the restaurant, which I can see actually ahead of me just through the trees. I'm sure it won't come out on camera, but can highly recommend it. They certainly know how to cook food. Very friendly, lovely place. Put up a picture or some video of it so you can get the name of the place, because I can't remember now off the top of my head. Right, I'll just wait for Dad to finish his photography and then we'll get moving. Good to get in some practice on the hairpins. I suspect we're going to see a few of those over the coming week. And I'm a bit irritated with myself for forgetting to clean my helmet when we stop for lunch. So I've still got fly debris all over it. There was one particular fly that kind of splattered itself on the visor and then rather hopelessly started sliding down and left a trail of guts down my visor. It's disgusting. It's one of the things I hate the most actually about motorcycling. Actually, I don't hate much about motorcycling, but I do hate the flies. Very irritating. And itchy noses. That also is really irritating. There's something about this BMW, as soon as I'm talking about the BMW as we're going around, it does obviously vibrate, the engine vibrates, and that does transmit all the way up into your helmet sometimes at certain speeds, certain engine speeds, and I get an itchy nose. Maybe it's the helmet that's the problem, maybe I'm just weird, don't know. But do you get itchy noses whilst you're riding? Let me know in the comments. You know, that is the kind of stuff that happens on CG rides. We can have conversations about itchy noses. What quality content. Fantastic. Well, this isn't particularly entertaining, is it? Following a motorhome through a town. I'm going to switch the cameras off and switch them back on when we get somewhere nice. So by the magic of video editing, you will be instantly transported into beautiful scenery right now. Yeah, it's raining. In fact, it's been raining really heavily, so we stopped and got geared up with all our wet weather clobber, which will keep me dry. Oxford rain seal, it's inexpensive and it works well. I've got some decent gloves that I've had for many years, Risha gloves, and these always keep me relatively dry. I have no idea if the GoPro Media Mod, so that's the shell that's around the GoPro on my helmet that allows me to record audio, I've got no idea if that is waterproof. So if you're seeing this, then it probably means that it is waterproof, or at least it has remained waterproof up to this point. But if there are no further episodes, then that means it failed. And chances of getting another one over here are pretty slim, so because I wouldn't know where to look, at least go into a city, I don't want to do that. Let's hope that that doesn't happen. The camera itself is waterproof, but you have to remove the waterproof door from the side of it in order to slide it into the Media Mod, and I don't know that the Media Mod shell itself is waterproof, so I probably should have taken it off and put it away, but it's too late now. Anyway, we have been going through some nice scenery. Of course, the moment I switch the camera on, the mountains all disappear somehow. I'll leave it running for a bit and let's see what we can see. It is very nice up here. We're definitely at a higher altitude. Temperatures drop down to 13 degrees C, which is another good reason for putting on all of the extra gear. Helps keep the wind off. And I guess I ought to talk about the RT's weather protection. Obviously you've got the enormous windscreen in front, which I've spoken about before, I won't talk about that again. But down to the side of the bike, the bodywork comes right out. I don't know how well you can see this, so it is covering most of my legs. And I notice when I get off the bike, I'm generally drier in that area than my poor dad, who's on his CB1100, and it's relatively exposed. And I've been taking it very carefully because I can see a lot of standing water on the roads. Not on this particular bit. This bit's alright, it's got extra grip, but there has been some slippery roads. I did take one corner and the front wheel definitely started sliding briefly. You know you get that where it just for a moment you go over something slippery and you just feel it twitch. Not a good feeling. Whilst I do want to be cautious, I don't really have much interest in following this Dacia Sandero at low speeds, so I am going to nip past it. What are you doing? The stones in the field there, quite reminiscent of parts of England. The weather's certainly reminiscent of England. It is amazing how the scenery changes. I mean, this could be in Wales, couldn't it? Apart from the fact we're driving on the other side of the road. We go from beautiful forests to kind of expanse of nothingness. It's beautiful though. As long as you've got wet weather gear that works properly, you really can enjoy a ride in the rain. This bright yellow jacket that I've got on is a bit of a revelation for me. I bought it 5 years ago for our trip to Spain, and I used it there for the first time. And because my jacket that I'm wearing is it's an Alpine Stars. It's not a particularly expensive jacket, but it does a really good job at keeping water out. So you stick one of these things over the top of it, the Oxford Rain Seal, and you just stay dry. Apart from the bit in your crotch, you know, because the water sort of pools there and then gets blown up under your coat. So in order to try and stop that happening, I've tucked my jacket into my waterproof trousers. So I look like a total muppet, but hopefully I'll still be dry at the end of this journey. We'll see. Water gets everywhere, doesn't it? And the trousers I'm wearing are Oxford Rain Seal as well. And I'm wearing Oxford jeans, just denim, riding denim jeans, because that's what I'm most comfortable in. I don't like wearing big textile trousers. I'm not keen on leathers. They've got reasonable road abrasion. If you do happen to come off, you can put hip protectors and knee protectors in if you want. I don't personally. That's my own choice, and I realise that there's an element of risk to that. It's very difficult to balance the unlikely event that you're going to come off with the very real event that the knee protectors are going to be uncomfortable, and I'd rather be comfortable on the bike. So for me, it's finding a balance between comfort and safety. Anyway, if you ride with the denim jeans, obviously there's no waterproof protection at all, so you've got to carry around some of these waterproof trousers. And what I like about these is that they're easy enough to put on over your boots. You don't have to get undressed at the side of the road. They are enormous, of course, but if you stay dry, it's all good. The only problem I have with them is that they ride up, and I had this in Spain 5 years ago. We got caught in an absolute apocalyptic rain shower, and because the waterproof trousers had ridden up my leg, they'd ridden up above the top of my boot, and I hadn't realised, and of course then all the water that's accumulated on the trousers just funnels straight into the boots. So I had soaking wet boots that night, which took me ages to dry them out. So top tip, got some cable ties out, and I have literally cable tied my trousers to my boots, and I'm wondering if I'm going to be able to show you this on camera. We've got a nice straight bit of road. If I pop my leg out down there, you could probably see a big white cable tie. So the strap on my boot and the velcro strap at the bottom of the trousers are connected, and that stops them from riding up. There you go, you're welcome. Top tip. I was going to do a video actually of essential things to take on a tour with you, and plot reveal some cable ties. Inexpensive, very useful, so good stuff to have. The great thing as well about the wet weather gear is it doubles as thermals, additional thermal layer, especially if you're going over the mountains. The temperature's dropping now down to 12.5, and if you get wet and then get cold, that is a bit of a disaster. It's not a good combination. Proper gear makes a huge difference. I always carry a pair of winter gloves with me, as well as my summer gloves, for exactly this reason. My hands are bone dry inside these gloves. Interesting house or church up there right on the edge of the cliff edge. Why do people build them there? Because they can, I suppose. So just seen a sign there for Murat, or Murat, however you say that. That's our next destination, and from there we'll route to a place called Pierrefonds, and I think it's looks like an interesting ride from there. Whether or not you'll be able to see much, I don't know, thanks to the weather, but I think I'll switch off again, and I'll catch up with you when we're somewhere else. This is all pretty spectacular, even in the rain. And hiding in the clouds over to my right there is actually a mountain range. I'm sure I've seen a huge peak just in a gap in the clouds. This sort of massif in front of us, again with some sort of church on top. I mean, if you want people to come to church, why would you make them walk to the top of a mountain? I imagine if the sun was shining, this would just be even more epic than it already is. Maybe the mist adds a touch of excitement. Huge mountains. we're dropping down into this town, a medieval city, Murat. I don't know how much of that we're going to see because we'll probably just be skirting around it. I'm looking for the D39. There is the D39, Murat Centre. I think we'll go around the outside though. I don't want to chance upon a slippery cobbled street in the rain. Some fellow tourists. The trees look so pretty, all the different colours. Love it. I can see on my sat-nav D39 heading off to the right. Hopefully that's the right direction. I think it would be off to the right. I'm trying to remember the map. We need to head to the west. Right, I think we want to go right here. Ah, no we don't. This is the wrong road. That's annoying. I have to turn around. Let's program the sat-nav. Right, we found the right road and we're heading out the other side of Murat towards Pier 4 on the mountain road, and I think this is another opportunity for me to shut my big fat mouth and put some music on, let you guys enjoy the ride. So I don't know how to pronounce that, but that summit is Prat de Bouc, B-O-U-C, Prat de Bouc. And the road, the sign at the side of the road there said we were at 1,392 metres, so not an absolutely massive mountain, but certainly big enough. And it's pretty cool up here. It feels colder than my temperature gauge is saying it is, 12 degrees. But because of the rain and once you get riding, you get the wind on you, it makes it feel colder, doesn't it? So now we're going to descend. We're going to head down to the river. There's a bridge over the river. And then we start heading over to the east to where we're staying this evening. So again, might be some good scenery. I'll just leave the camera rolling until the battery runs out. Enjoy! yeah, update on the wet weather gear and my brilliant plan of tucking my jacket into my trousers in order to stop the wind funneling the rain up my jacket. I didn't think that through, did I? So yeah, water ingress in places that I definitely don't want water ingress. This is not fun at all. Yeah, I'm proper wet now. This is quite fatiguing actually, the level of concentration you got to apply on these roads. There's nothing to stop you. If I get it wrong, I'm going over the edge. I mean, it's not like a cliff face or anything, I probably wouldn't die, but my bike would be somewhat worse for wear. It's difficult to see what's coming, and the road just isn't very wide at all, and if you come in just a little bit too fast into a corner, because it's such a big bike, it can overshoot. So I need to resist the urge to crack on so that I can get to the destination and get dry versus staying safe. Things are very cold now under the trousers. It's not a winner. Well, I got hopelessly lost in Pierre 4. Crazy, I should have had the camera on. Oh, it's just unbelievable. Very challenging handling such a big bike on these tiny little and very steep streets with very tight corners. Just couldn't find this road that we're on now. It's a real struggle. Finally managed to locate it. Only had to turn around about 3 times. This was supposed to be the highlight of the day. This little bit of road here coming down to the river, and the rain has spoiled that rather. And we got caught in an absolutely torrential downpour, and yeah, I'm soaking. My gloves are soaked through now. They've got to the point where my fingers are wet, and I've managed to untuck my jacket, so things aren't quite so critical now. Yeah, if you ride in the rain, you're gonna get wet, says some ancient proverb somewhere, or maybe I just made that up. But look at this view though, it was worth it. Oh, it's incredible. That beautiful bridge down there is just the one I wanted to go over, and I really want to look around, but I can't do that because this road, as you can probably tell, is really bumpy, it's really narrow, and this one is proper dangerous. If you go off the edge, you're going down a long way. Anyway, I'll leave the cameras on now until the battery goes. I know I said that before, but they're still alive, I think. And let's go and enjoy this bridge, and then we'll get on the road to Fournels. Well, it was worth it. Look at that. What a beautiful bridge in a beautiful place. Fantastic. Let's see that sign there, Circuit de Mont du Cantal. So we've been following the road that is the circuit of the mountains of Cantal, and yet they didn't bother putting any of those signs up in Pierrefonds, unless I'm just blind and I completely missed them. Anyway, rant over. These are challenging roads for any motorcyclist, but if you're riding a big bike like this, it's definitely a good test. If you want to improve your motorcycling skills, come here. So here we are at the accommodation for the night, a really nice hotel. We just had a really nice dinner here. It was a sort of buffet for your starter, buffet for dessert, and then you had a choice of 3 different mains. Price was pretty good. I'll talk about that in tomorrow's episode because we got breakfast here as well, so I'll tell you what the whole price is for each night that we stay. It is very pleasant. Let me give you the quick room tour. Okay, bed covered in my junk, and a radiator with all my stuff drying next to it. Got a TV, the space, separate bathroom. You don't need to see that. And then this lovely balcony area, which is kind of nice, a bit too wet to use. You can see in the distance our bikes are parked up nice and safe. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting a good night's kit. That was a long ride, and after the batteries ran out on the GoPro, we had a lot more of the same. Really gnarly, tight roads, lots of hairpins, and it was spectacular scenery. Just totally ruined by the rain, really. A bit of a shame, because it was the thing I was really looking forward to today, is that last section, dropping down and going over the bridge, and then working our way back up the mountain and across to Fournels, where we are now. But never mind, that's the way it goes sometimes. We can get everything dried out for tomorrow. And you might be interested to know that the GoPro that I'm currently talking to you on is the one that's attached to the front of my helmet, and the microphone foamy is still dripping wet, but the camera works fine. So there you go. You can indeed use a GoPro 10 with the media mod in pouring rain. And so far the forecast for tomorrow looks okay. I think there is a bit of rain about. We might get lucky. So we're going down to Millau Viaduct tomorrow. So that'll be part of day 3 if you tune in to watch that. Thanks very much for watching this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you subscribe to the channel, and see you again soon. Next time, CG Rides.